Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're based in the world. We are happy to welcome you to the A4Q World Congress, which is the first A4Q World Congress, and it is already a success. And I'm happy to welcome Iosif Itkin today, and he will show his presentation, and I'm happy to hand over to him. Welcome, and thank you for being here, and let's start your presentation.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. My name is Iosif Itkin. I am CEO and co-founder of Exactpro. We are a software testing business. I started my career 20 plus years ago from software development. Then I moved into performance and load testing in 2006. And I co-founded Exactpro on 9th of September, Software Testers Day in 2009, so 999. I ran a couple of conferences, Extend Software Testing and Trading Technology Trends, and TMPA Tools and Methods of Program Analysis. I participate in work of various groups like fixed trading, monitoring, onboarding, and software testing. And also I work in laboratory of software testing lost in Tomsk Polytechnic University. I have ISTQB and also A4Q AI and software testing certifications. And today I would like to talk about software testing for exchanges and some ideas, principles, and experience from our work with stock exchanges and doing software testing there. Exactpro is a medium-sized business. We currently employ over 600 specialists. We started 11 years ago with a very small team. We are very focused on building software to test software for financial market infrastructures. We work across the globe. Our clients are in more than 20 countries. Our solutions are used by more than a half of top 20 exchange groups. The business is recognized for the work that we do in this area, and we are working from Sydney to Toronto, from Johannesburg to London. We have a wide network of partners, including, of course, GasQ and ISTQB. And one of them I also would like to introduce is Zero Outage Industry Standard. It is a standard that is specifically focused on ensuring reliability and resilience of high-profile mission-critical infrastructures. The standard is open. It covers platforms, people, processes, and security. And I encourage everyone who is interested in this area to study it and to join Zero Outage Industry Standard. So resilience is a capacity to recover from difficulties and the ability of substance object to spring back into shape. So it is a very important characteristic for the systems. Bank of England and Financial Conduct Authority published recently a discussion paper building the UK financial sector's operational resilience. It is very important for financial sector to remain online because people need to raise capital, perform transactions, etc. And operational resilience is the ability of the firm to prevent, adapt, respond, recover, and learn from operational disruption. And everything that happens today is more or less operational disruption. There are different types of financial services firms, and in particular trading companies. There are proprietary trading companies and high-frequency trading, like the famous Knight Capital, they're trading on their own budget, and they have responsibility for their own budget. These are interesting systems, but once again, your responsibility is limited to what you do. Another type is sell side or brokerage, where brokers receive orders from clients and deliver services, route orders into stock exchange, etc. So here, brokers have a responsibility to their clients. But the last type of financial services firms or trading system types is financial market infrastructure. It is exchange, stock exchange, derivatives exchange, or a clearing house. And a company of this type has responsibility for orderly market operations. It is not able to discriminate particular user types, etc. So it is responsible for the whole market infrastructure, and that's why it has higher requirements on quality, reliability, availability, etc. Most of the time when something happens, we can learn about it in newspaper. When any significant exchange goes down, there will certainly be quite a lot of publications about it in media. Stock exchange, modern stock exchange processes hundreds of millions of transactions per day. They process tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands transactions per second. And their response times are within hundreds of microseconds, actually below hundreds of microseconds. To have a better understanding of it, 100 microseconds is 3,000 times faster than a blink of an eye. And it takes 100 microseconds is the time that Boeing 747 or other jet will be only able to travel 2.5 centimeters. So during this micro period of time, the order is received by the stock exchange. It is checked, it is analyzed to see that it is okay, that parameters of it is okay, that ascending party is okay, etc. Then it goes into central order book. It is processed there and gets back within this period of time, within less than 100 microseconds. Stock exchanges are also very complex from functional perspective. They usually consist of many different components that are responsible for processing, collecting, analyzing data, etc. So there are many challenges to operational resilience of the things like stock exchange, in particular concentration risk. When you operate a web portal, even when you operate very huge web portal, you can deploy different versions of your software on different servers and make sure that the new release is okay on a smaller population of users. But Exchange has no such luxury because it is obliged to provide the same service to everyone. So it is not possible to deploy software, different software for different users, and thus it certainly results in concentration risks. There are obvious challenges with fast transactions. So latency and response times are constantly going down. So it is probably now within 50 to 80 microseconds. And trading participants constantly introduce new technologies, and the work of ensuring operational resilience for the stock exchange requires more and more elaborate efforts. So in this presentation, I will focus on one activity closest to my heart. It is software testing. Software testing is exploring software with the intent of finding bugs. It is empirical technical investigation conducted to provide stakeholders with information about the quality of the product or service under test. And for the systems such as stock exchanges, we need to have special processes, platforms, and people in order to ensure that our information service software testing will be able to provide sufficient information to stakeholders so they can safely operate their financial market infrastructure, such as an exchange or a clearing house. So we separate ideas into three parts. They are processes, platforms, and people. So there is no magic process or magic platform that will ensure operational resilience. There are magic people, but they also need support from platforms and processes. And good people are capable of creating both, but in order to ensure that information is extracted about software in efficient way, we need all three. So it is when we have deficiency in any of these three parts, we are not able to do the work properly. The processes part in ensuring operational resilience in our work and our observation is based on five main principles. They are inevitability, observability, fidelity, substantiality, and agility. So inevitability means that the outage or the problem will absolutely happen. So it is not a question of if, it's only a question of when. So when we do software testing, we need to do it with assumption that the things will certainly go wrong, no matter how hard we try. And it creates a different attitude and requires different approach. So if we think that nothing will break, then we are not prepared for that eventuality. So whenever we structure test plans, test approaches around such systems, such projects, we always need to assume that something very bad will happen and build upon it. The second one is observability. So from the very beginning of the project, we need to ensure that observability of most of the processes on most of the things within a complex platform such as a stock exchange, that observability is our top priority. Most of the time, the difference between a problem and a disaster is related to monitoring. Problems do happen, and if we can spot it quickly, then we can do something about it. But if we are not able or incorrectly interpret what happens, then it usually a small problem can turn into huge disaster. It happens in power grids. It happens in air in airspace. It happens in financial sector for sure. So quite a lot of high-profile outages were related to the fact that the teams have misconfigured something and then had no ability to understand what's going on for a particular period of time. So one of the main processes that we need to make sure is present is observability of everything. In particular, say for high load systems, it might not be possible to collect all logs or some applications, even not storing log files due to low latency considerations. And when happens, it is necessary to put special network devices to capture traffic independently from the system in production system under test. So it is possible to look into network captures to get latency and other information. When we structure software testing around stock exchanges, we are trying to make sure that the same level of monitoring is available in test environments as in production, because it is an important and critical part of the overall picture. And test and monitoring itself should have the top priority. The next one is fidelity. It is the main software testing principles. So we need to focus on extracting honest information about the system and observations. When you operate something mission critical, you still operate under time and cost constraints, and very often there is a significant push to sacrifice information, to sacrifice knowledge about the system in order to deploy it faster. But in the long run, if you do not invest into sufficient information service, and if you try to conceal the data in order to push forward the project, it always ends badly. I think the best, well, at least one of the best films about testing is called The Pentagon Wars. It is not about financial sector. It is more about armored vehicle. But all the testing principles that were applied in the film, they are also very, very applicable to software testing of any other system. In regulatory environments such as stock exchanges, there is constant push towards compliance, and it is a good thing, but very often it turns to its dark side to box checking rather than exploring the system. And it is very important when we are trying to build the process to focus more on substance rather than on form. There are many good things written about it, but overall, if you are focusing on ticking the boxes, you will certainly experience substantial outages in production. And the last one, agility. So agility is very important for a modern stock exchange, and it does not contradict quality, but it is the only way to ensure quality. So the main thing that we need to build into the process is ability to have a very tight feedback loop. So the faster we can get the information back to interested parties, the easier is to ensure resilience of the platforms. So these are five things that we need to make sure are present when we are structuring the processes. The next one is platforms or tools. So platform is the tool that can use other tools. So tool is an object that extends our ability to do something. And humans are known to be the only species capable of using tools to make other tools. And this ability allows us to live and to prosper. It is a very good idea to use tools to do something with other tools. Our motto is build software to test software. We are building software platforms in order to test complex platforms. For example, to test stock exchange, we are building algo trading software, or to test algo trading software, we are building market surveillance platforms. There are several questions one needs to ask themselves when thinking about platforms or testing tools. The first one, of course, is it necessary to use tools at all, or there are other ways? This one is pretty clear. So it is possible to dig ground with your own hands, but tools make it so much easier. And for the systems that process hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, it is not possible to do something without tools. The second thing is that when we work with such systems, the main requirements to the test tools that we need to focus not on functional testing or not on non-functional testing. Instead, we need to focus on the confluence between functional and non-functional requirements. It means that the test tools will need to process quite a lot of data and find anomalies there. And it also means that complexity of the test harness, test library, test tool can easily match complexity of the system under test. We are constantly asked whether it is a good idea to reinvent the wheel and create your own test tools. And what we found out that control is very important. And when you have open source tools and when you are able to modify code of the protocols, etc., it allows you to have both better understanding of their complex interconnected systems that you test, and also to fix the problems in the tools themselves. Then with tools, we constantly encounter good testability and bad testability in the systems under test. So good testability is testability that allows to get more information from the system. And bad testability is something that helps to hide information about the systems. So such things happen. People do add additional interfaces as a kind of testability, but sometimes do it in a way that obscures information rather helps to extract it. When working with complex systems, do we need to use a single tool or do we need to use a wide variety of tools? Our conclusion after years of working in this area that tool has two different sides. On one side, it looks towards humans, and we need more unification, homogeneity on this side. And because we would like people to be comfortable with the tool. On the other side, we are looking towards the systems under test, and there we need to have more variety, more diversity, because we would like the systems be uncomfortable when we test them. So we need to have on one side less diversity. On the other side, we need to try different protocols, different programming languages, etc., in order to make sure that we properly cover complex systems. On the question of whether it is a good idea to test your own test tools, the test tool can be buggy, so it is not the main thing about the test tools to not contain problems. Sometimes when your test tool contains problems, it is capable of identifying more issues in the software under test. So it is a difficult question. So there are some problems in software testing tools, once again, that obscure obtaining information. But there are other problems in software testing tools that indeed help to find issues from time to time. So it is a difficult question. And the last one on the test tools is the appropriate level of autonomy. There is indeed a lively debate in this area. In short, I think when we are able to tell robots what to do, it's a good thing. But when robots tell us what to do, it is probably a bad thing. But I think it deserves a separate conversation. We are building a platform called TH2. It is specifically targeted to testing complex systems in financial sector. So please feel free, have a look at it. It is open source and available in GitHub. And the last but not least part is people. And over years of working in this area, we've identified 7 key values that enable good software testers and that enable good work in this area. I will not probably go through all of them. They are ownership, ability to do deep impact, hard work, ability to learn, ability to be agile, agility, ability to communicate, and objectivity. I will probably say a couple of words on 2 of them, on ownership and objectivity. So in our industry, the cost of error is it's high, so it's not human life, but it is very painful financial and reputation loss. So when problems get leaked into production, it is always very bad. And there is a question how to train software testers in this respect, knowing that the things will go wrong and that the problems will eventually leak into production. So whose is responsibility? There are two schools. One teaches that quality is everyone's responsibility, and there is certainly good merit to this idea. And there is a second school that teaches that software testers are responsible and have full ownership for the quality of their work. And the work of software testers is to find defects. So if the defect had leaked into production, it means that we were not good at our job. We believe that training new software testers in idea that it is their responsibility to make sure that defects will not leak into production helps us to raise a good generation of software testers that will not consider themselves to be victims and do not think that somebody else is responsible for something. And the last one is objectivity. Testers do not need to provide objective information about the system. They need to find defects and they need to provide information about their finding. Very often, when testers start to feel that instead of providing information, they need to push particular narrative or to say to stop the system from going live or vice versa to push it faster, they become not journalists but activists, and it is not a good thing. So the testers need to be honest, because what we do is we provide important information services. Thank you very much. If you like to learn more, there's quite a lot of information available on Exactpro YouTube channel. And once again, thanks a lot for joining and listening for this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting, and thank you also for the movie recommendation. We will definitely watch Pentagon Wars. Now is the time to watch movies and stay at home. And will you be available in the Congress Hall after the speech?
Yes, I will try to go to the Congress Hall. Thank you.
So for now, you answered all the questions of the audience. There were no questions, and but if some questions are popping up, feel free to join us at the Virtual Congress Hall. You can find the link directly on the website, which is shown here below. And there you can click a button, join the Virtual Congress Hall, and then you enter directly the space. There will be like exhibitors from all over the world, a bar, some private areas to talk, and also Iosif Itkin to answer your questions. Thank you for being here and holding this interesting presentation, and thanks to the audience for watching. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.